All right. Well, welcome to our vast and enormous audience of at least one person, well, two, including us. So this is the first episode, the experimental first pancake of Victoria and Naomi talk about books. Ta-da!
Our pilot. Let's call it.
Yes,
It's used
our
to be, yeah.
pilot
Our
episode. It sounds like a proper thing, like we're doing, like to show it to a studio audience in Hollywood and then to go, what is this? We don't know.
we don't
We shall
know,
find
but
out.
so Naomi,
So. mm,
uh, tell us about the book that you
The
are
book.
writing. The book.
Ah, the book. Okay. Well, this is the Retired Assassin's Guide to Amateur Theatrics, and it is centered around in a mythical town on the west coast of New Zealand. Our retired assassin Dante has become part of Macbeth, an amateur production of Macbeth. And of course, there's murders on stage and murders off stage, and then chaos ensues, and Dante has to find out somehow who done it without killing anyone himself. And there's ghosts and the cat and lots of miscommunication between him and Andrea, who is possibly his girlfriend, but we're not quite sure, and neither is Dante. And it is in the editing, much revising and editing stage. So I have lots of notes to myself of things to fix, and now we're fixing them one by one, crossing them off the list. Yes.
And when is it? When is it due to?
Well, to be released into the wild, it has to be out in December, December the something. But hopefully, I'll be able to get it out before then because I'm going to be moving house at the end of the year, and I don't want to move house and publish a book at the same time. I feel like that would be a bad idea. So hopefully, maybe September, October, without making too much of a big noise about it. Yeah.
Okay, nice. And this is book number three in the
Three.
series.
So it'll be a trilogy by then. It's gonna
Oh,
be,
and
yeah, so
is this the
more books
final
than
book?
before.
Is it like a trilogy or is this an ongoing series and we'll keep getting
I think
installments?
there's going to be more murders happening in this delightful little town. Note to self, don't ever move into a delightful little town where there's an amateur detective or two because this is chaos and murder everywhere. Very bad idea. So yeah, I
Very
think
fine.
maybe well, I've got enough ideas for five, maybe six books, and then we'll see. Yeah, I might get different ideas. Who knows? We might run
Wonderful.
out of bodies. Yeah.
Uh,
And
it's a tiny town. Eventually, there'll be
I
no
know.
more people left.
Yeah, exactly. Or it'll get flooded with like, I don't know, true crime reporters just following people around going, who's gonna die next? Ta-da, ta-da. Which would actually be quite fun. I think we'd have to get some true crime podcasters in there at some point and
Yeah,
see what happens.
definitely.
Victoria,
Yes.
tell me what's happening on the writing front.
On the writing front, well, I'm actually going, how to explain this? I I have been working on this novel for entirely too long. It has gone through entirely too many versions. And when I say versions, I don't mean versions of the same story. As you well know, it has morphed enough times that it is several different books at this point. But right now I am going back to very, very basics for writers, which is getting the editor out of my head because that's my
Mm,
main problem. I edit, I write, and keeping them separate is not always easy, which means I block myself entirely too many times on a draft. So right now, I have completely taken off my editor's hat when I take up the pen, and I'm actually doing it by hand. Um, so I don't know when it will be ready, but as long as it's fun, I'll keep doing it. That's yes,
A good rule to go
that's
by.
yes,
Yeah.
that's the
There's
whole.
going to be hard times, but as long as it's generally fun, you'll keep doing it.
I'll keep doing it.
Mm.
Yes, definitely. And same as you, I remember you saying, I'm looking into short stories, seeing what makes a short story tick, to see if maybe as I'm working on this other behemoth of of a story, I can get some stuff done on the side that doesn't that has a quicker turnaround, basically.
Okay,
What are
question
you?
for you.
Yes.
Favorite short story writers or favorite short stories that you've read? I find them
Ah,
tricky and I want some reading advice.
that's a that's a very difficult thing to because how could to separate? It depends. There's differences if you're going through like genre wise, like detective, mystery short stories or crime
Mm,
or fantasy. Like every different genre kind of has their own way of
mm.
going through
Mhm.
of structuring the short stories. Uh,
What are your
so
a few that you like? You're like, this is a great short story. What anything
I
springs to mind?
that springs to mind right off the bat on the literary end. I like Richard Bausch. He has some very interesting like slice of life stories, and I'm thinking one that's all dialogue, untagged, and it's
Mm.
meant to be somebody listening to a couple speaking through the wall. And you can
Oh,
totally follow what's going on. It's like something that's happening in a hotel, and you know that the
yeah.
narrator, who doesn't say a single word, but what's happening is they're listening to a dialogue going on in the room
Wow.
beside. And it's
That's
amazing.
clever.
You can totally
Huh.
follow the action, you can totally follow the emotion and the relationship of these people that you're not seeing. And it's I thought that was just absolutely brilliant. I
Mm.
don't remember the name of the story, but then I don't remember names of
Find it.
absolutely anything. So
Yeah.
then I really enjoy uh, both her novels and a lot of her short stories. Tanith Lee.
Oh,
Um,
I've read her when I was like a teenager back when. Huh.
yes, she
Cool.
has. I like her style a lot, and I
Mm.
think I really like mythical fairy tale adjacent
Mm.
retellings, and she has that voice, and it can get quite dark and macabre at
Mm.
certain points, and which is fun with for I think for fairy tales.
Mm.
And that's what I can think of right now. I know there's a whole lot of uh, authors that or stories that I followed by
Mm.
different authors, but I don't think I have one favorite. What about you?
Mm. Well, the one that I like when I read it, I was just like, this is a perfect short story for me. I loved it. It was Chivalry by Neil Gaiman. It's about Mrs. Whittaker who finds the Holy Grail in an Oxfam shop for like five pence. And it just goes from there. And I don't know, something about the way it's told. It's all told through Mrs. Whittaker's way of doing things, and it goes from Monday she did this, and on Tuesday she did that, and then the Knights of the Holy Grail show up, and she's like, "Oh, that's nice," and it just carries on like this, and it's just got all this humor and it's magical realism, which I love, and it just I don't know. For me, I was like, damn, if I could write a short story like that, I would be very happy. Then there's Hemingway, who's rather different. Lots of sort of understated tragedy of human condition. And the most short stories I've been reading now mm, are things like Where the Wild Things Are and The Tiger Who Came for Tea. I just have been getting into Judith Kerr, who um, my kids are really into The Tiger Who Came for Tea, and Mog, all about her not very bright cat who just does the most ridiculous things. And yeah, I don't know, like kids' stories is all about the pattern recognition and repeated um, kind of iterations until the pattern breaks. But I think that could be very true for adult short stories as well. I think there's like in a short story, you need that pattern breaks, and then something new happens or twists or something along those lines.
Yeah, that actually reminds me, I just read the Summer People um, by Shirley Jackson. That's actually
Oh,
an author I really enjoy. I mean, everybody, of course, knows The Lottery by Shirley Jackson, and I think
no, I don't. The
Haunting
Haunting
on
on Hill
something
House.
of Hill
Hill
House.
House? Yeah, yeah.
The Lottery is one of her most famous ones. Read it.
Mm,
It's really good. She is a
okay.
master of the twist at the end
Mm,
and leaving endings very open, where it's not really about like the open, like you know what's going to happen after that or don't, but don't need to know to get the effect.
mm,
Uh, so I would actually recommend her as a good example um of short stories. She was quite prolific as well, so there's quite a
yeah,
lot to look at,
yeah.
and they're good. They're you don't see it coming, which is
Ah,
for you
that's
who write
clever.
mysteries, it's very good
Mm,
how she gets that lots of subtext and lots of understated what people don't say, but then
mm.
on the second read you're like, oh, it, they
It
said
was
it.
all there.
I
Yeah,
thought nobody had said it, but they kept saying it,
that's
and
the clever thing because the twist has to be supported leading up to it. It like it feels, even if it feels like it comes out of nowhere, if it really does, it doesn't feel right. So it has to be supported, but kind of under the hood, so that when it does come, you're still like, oh, scary or jump scare or everything changes, but it has actually been there all, like you said, when the second time you read it, it's all there, but they very cleverly snuck it in under the radar.
yes, yes, I think in those the key of what I've pieced out from analyzing these stories is where the author is able to put you inside the head of the person who is going to live the twist. So you're so
Oh,
much within their frame of reference that you miss the signals along with them, even though
mm,
they're screamed at in your face. But because they're doing that, very close third person, or you're very much in their point of view, you're within their way of seeing the world and processing
mm,
whatever is coming up. So by the time you get to the twist, you get to the twist with the characters. Um,
yeah,
and then on your second read, you're already looking for, you're able to do that, taking a step back and saying
mm,
like, oh yes, of course, those things were evident there. There was a kid, piling stones at the beginning, and those stones are then used at the end. Or, people kept saying, "Don't
mm,
do this," um, and the main character kept, not paying attention to what people were saying and justifying it away and taking you along for that ride, which I think is how most good twists are are done. It is a sleight of hand, like a magician, where
mm,
you're trying to get the reader to pay attention to this so that you don't pay attention to that.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
and I think that's also probably, I don't know, you probably know this more, but what you do with a mystery where you want people to follow along with your detectives, but not give away everything
Yeah, there's a
while
fair
still.
play where you give them everything they need to know, but then you give them, okay, this is what happened, but Agatha Christie's really good at that. She kind of bakes in some assumptions about, like, if you look at an event in two different ways, like it happened, like the facts are the same, but depending which way you look at it, the outcome or who did what is totally different. So she bakes in certain assumptions that then lead you off in the wrong direction. So she's totally playing fair. She's given you all the information, but you come to all the wrong conclusions, usually along with Hastings or whoever happens to be the sleuth sidekick. And then Poirot or Miss Marple at the end comes and says, like, okay, yes, we've got all the facts, but this is actually what happened. And you're like, oh, of course, that's what happened. Now it all makes sense because these fundamental assumptions that I bought into along with everyone else were wrong. And there was no reason for me to actually believe that. So she's very, very clever.
Well, I think, yeah, what you're saying actually goes with what Agatha Christie is doing, is making you buy into the frame of reference of Hastings, of whoever is that sidekick character who's not the brilliant mind. Because I
Mm,
guess this is the same thing as with um, Sherlock Holmes, where
mm,
you're always with the non-brilliant character who is brilliant enough to
yeah.
be able to follow along, and try to make deductions, but isn't Poirot, isn't
Mm,
Holmes. So you are taking, you are given all the information, but framed in such a way that you're going to go off. Um,
yeah. I mean, it can be like kind of annoying when you realize like, oh, they absolutely said exactly this, but then she undermined it by that character had like a ulterior motive to lie, but actually they were telling the truth at this time, or they were drunk at the time, but actually what they saw was the truth. You know, there's a whole lot of different tricks that she and other mystery writers employ to fool the audience. And but that's the thing, like with a mystery, you want to be fooled. You want to be fooled with in a successful way or with style, like when you go to see a magician. Or I've watched a bunch of videos of Penn and Teller where they tell you what they're doing. They even do like the three cup, the cup and ball trick with see-through cups, and they still pull it off. I mean, it's ludicrous, but they manage it. It's incredible. It's like, no, that shouldn't even be possible. They shouldn't tell you how they're doing it. They shouldn't be using transparent cups to hide the ball. And then you're like, oh my God, they just did that. That's insane. So yeah, there's a lot of fun to be had in misdirecting and fooling your readers.
yes, and it goes back to this thing that I'm obsessed about, um,
Mm.
when I'm looking at stories, which is uh, what what the narrator, what the I mean the author. I speak of the narrator because it's the voice telling the story. Uh, how they direct your attention, basically, so that they can tell you stuff, but in how things are told, they're directing your attention, saying, "Pay attention to this. This is important." And this, you can just how just by using the language, they've said it, but you just brush, right past it.
Mm.
Which in mystery works one way, and in every other genre, you use it to highlight things that you want the reader to dwell on, or to pay attention to, or to actually, it will stay with them. Um,
Mm.
and which is wonderful. In mystery, you want to mislead the reader. In
Mm.
other genres, it can be very annoying when you've highlighted everything that, and then you say, no, but this was the thing that was important. You're like, well, you didn't make it clear. And that's a whole other editing thing that goes on, which is, you have to be very careful as as the author, and the good ones know exactly what they're doing.
Yes. And the others just
Definitely.
pretend.
And the rest of us just wing it.
We wing it.
And hope for the best.
Yes. All right. Shall
All
we?
right.
We're at 1 minute to 10.
Yeah.
I want to do the where the wild things. Now stop. And that's the end of the thing.
And now we're done.
And now we're done.
And now we're
Bye
done.
bye.
Bye-bye. See you
That's
next
what,
time.
yeah, that's what my kids say when they want me to go somewhere. They're like, bye bye, mummy. Bye bye. I'm like,
That's it.
okay,
You can
fine.
go.
Stop, 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 stop.
I
Yeah.
think on that, yeah, I'll stop the recording now.
Hey.